thank you for staying with us as we continue the conversation on the Ma Kote Mangrove. And joining us now is Aline Regis, the Caribbean Programs Manager of PCI Media Impact.
Aline Regis, Caribbean Programs Manager, PCI Media Impact.
First of all, give us your connection with this activity here today.
Okay, well, it's been a while now that my organization has been supporting the Lucia National Trust and the other partners that are working to do some restoration work here in the south of the island. This is all part of a bigger project, which is the Eastern Caribbean Marine Managed Areas Network project, where we're supporting the outreach component of that throughout the 6 countries that ECMAN, where they're working. So for us here, this is all part of us supporting that work.
Now, explain to us the significance of this event here. We have seedlings and the guys are replanting some mangrove areas. Explain to us the significance of that.
Right. Most of us, well, some of us do know the value of mangroves. Mangroves is significant for a number of reasons. On St. Lucia, we happen to have the biggest mangrove clump in the Caribbean, in the Eastern Caribbean. And it means that we have a responsibility because of the value of the mangroves, because this site here in Vieux-Fort has been declared a Ramsar site, meaning that it is of significance to the world and not just St. Lucia. So for us, this is critical. This needs to happen now. It is important for us to, for too long I think, mangroves have been ignored. The value of mangroves have been, a few understood it, a few kept it close to their hearts, but I think we recognize that all of St. Lucia needs to understand the value of mangroves and need to understand the value of the Ma Kote area, and so to come and participate. So we are very happy to have all of those schools over there since Friday, and then the communities yesterday with Lucelec and others today to come here and make this thing happen. So this is a very important thing for us at this time.
Now we know that they were all age ranges, as you mentioned, schools were here as well. How critical is it to have those kids understand early that they need to understand what this mangrove is about?
Right. I think especially with all the things that kids are exposed to, for them to get an appreciation of what is right in their back door and the value of it is critical. Because tomorrow they're the ones who are going to make the decisions as to whether you put a hotel, whether you demolish it, or what happens. They're the future prime ministers and so on and so forth. So we understand that, and we think it's necessary for them to be able to build a whole set of virtues, values, if you will, which is now that we're shaping. Now those values are being shaped for us to be able to come in here.
Now, talk to us about the area itself that we were at, the size of the area we're looking at, and the location and why that particular area is critical.
Right. Well, we're on the southeast of St. Lucia, just north of Coconut Bay. And this area is critical. I mean, we had a lot more mangrove around, but the scientists have been able to come, have been able to do a lot of research, have been able to prove that because of the value for the extraction of carbon from the atmosphere, for the protection against the Atlantic, for the nursery for fish. There are so many wonderful reasons why this spot. And a lot of people in St. Lucia don't know of this place. The majority of persons who have come here had never heard of Ma Kote before. I mean, before we really started this, the majority of persons is like, where is that? Even some people in Vieux-Fort did not know of where Ma Kote is. So for us, it is, we're happy that some people know, but we're still not happy. We're still not satisfied with the numbers. We would have preferred if we had a lot more persons to come in. Whereas, having a lot of people in the mangrove is a challenge. And as you saw, going there, the water and all of that sort of thing. But we still want persons to be able to know where Ma Kote is, so that in the future, when we do have, so let us say something like what happened where these developers were looking at Ma Kote and looking at including Ma Kote in there, that St. Lucians could stand up and say, hey guys, we can't allow this to happen because of the value of this location.
We also took the opportunity to speak with Aline Regis about the decision by government to take the Ma Kote Mangrove off the plan for major development in the south. It was earmarked to be replaced by a marina. And I'm sure you welcome the decision that Ma Kote is actually excluded from this project.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're very, very excited about that. A lot of the times people say to us, oh, you guys are always against everything and anything that has to do with development. That is not true at all. We're conservationists. We're not preservationists. We're saying that use what you have, but use it wisely and use it sustainably. This is not for us to use and get rid of in our lifetime. We have children, we have grandchildren coming up. We have to ensure that we leave this space And we also have to be the voice for the creatures that can speak, the wildlife that we have, that we're losing. You know, right off the coast here, we have Maria Islands, the Nemedophoras vantoy lizard, the St. Lucia whiptail. Found nowhere else on earth, the St. Lucia racer, nowhere else on earth, right in this area. So, you know, I mean, we are our brother's keeper, and by our brothers we mean all wildlife, all species, but we're about conservation. So developers can come, but they need to sit down and take everything into consideration. So we're hoping that in the future persons will listen. You know.
I want to ask you, what have we learned from this in terms of lessons? As we move forward, what would you like to see? What is the roadmap?
Right. One of the things I believe that we need to have is the collaborative effort at everything. I think we have too many agencies that are working in silos, and that if we are able to come, carry our messages to the schools, get the community involved, get persons to really truly understand and appreciate the value of what it is that we have, because they're very, very valuable. But we keep all of the research, all of the wonderful research and all the things on the shelf, and even when we do attempt to communicate with the general public, the language that is used, I think that it is time for us to engage the media and to take all of the technical information that we have and present it at a grade 4, grade 5 level to ensure that every person really truly understands what it is that we have. You know, we go outside, we that get the opportunity to travel and attend workshops and so on, and everybody else will tell you, man, we so fascinated with what St. Lucia has and so on and so forth. But the average St. Lucian has no idea. No idea. So we're hoping that we can work. What I would like to see happen is an engagement of the Media Workers Association, especially the media, to be able to excite persons like yourself by creating avenues, creating the situations where persons find it exciting. So they can come and jump and dance and so on and so forth. But the entertainment education, the messaging must happen. And I believe that is how we have to go. We have, like I said, a lot of groups. Let us come together. And when we go into the schools, when we go into the communities, let's do it as one team.
Before we leave, we could not miss a pond which lies just about a mile from the George Odlum Stadium. It is called the Borai Pond. We asked Aline about it. Explain to us that lake. Some of us, a lot of us may not know it exists there, right. But tell us about this lake.
Right, so people can refer to it as the Borai Pond, and because it's on private lands. Beautiful place, and every now and then there are times during the year when it looks like a very lush lake and you're sort of driving through the water and all of that sort of thing, and there are times of the year when it's completely dry, you know. So what happened many years ago, we understood that there used to be a lot more water in that area, but again, because of climate change and so on and so forth, you find longer dried areas, so that place is just completely dry. I'm hoping that this is one area that we can somehow are able to preserve, you know, and not allow some developers to come and just destroy it, because it's a natural beauty. And the persons have never been here, you know, you go into the airport all the time, you see it on the left, and people but to actually be in there is unbelievable. But it's a natural thing. You know, it's fresh water. And I'm hoping that we can keep it like that, you know.
And there's fish in there. Tell us about the fish and birds.
Yeah, well, we saw a lot of birds. We saw the snowy egrets. We saw a lot of birds. I was just told recently there was an osprey. We saw a lot of migratory birds come down this way, and they stop there. So some of them are resident there. You pass there, you'll see the same guy standing in the same spot. So we have quite a few species. We have some fish in the water, but because it keeps drying up, you know, you don't have that, you know. But significant, especially for migratory birds.
And that concludes our trek to the south and the Ma Kote Mangrove tonight. Do join us again for Calabash Community. I am Bernard Fanis.